security agencies warning those planning to disrupt the elections to have a rethink or be ready to face the consequences as troops arrest one of the masterminds of the Abuja-Kaduna attack. A gunman killed a Labour Party senatorial candidate in Enugu State just as Finnish authorities arrest Biafran separationist Simon Ekpa over alleged incitement and have released him. The Independent National Electoral Commission says over 87 million permanent voter cards have been collected across the country. Lagos tops the pack with over 6 million cards.
On business news tonight, U.S. President Joe Biden nominates former MasterCard CEO Ajay Banga to replace David Malpass as president of the World Bank following his resignation last week.
And on sports news tonight, Italian Serie A side Juventus beats 10-man Nantes to advance to the round of 16 of the UEFA Europa League.
Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, says President Muhammadu Buhari did not breach the Supreme Court order on naira redesign.
International news from London. Ukraine's intelligence service says it expects Russian missile attacks to coincide with the anniversary of the invasion.
We're counting hours now to the start of presidential and national elections in Nigeria. It's less than 48 to be exact. Security agents are sending out a strong message that no form of disruption will be allowed. Addressing a joint news conference in Abuja ahead of the elections, the Director, Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau, says the military in conjunction with other security agencies are determined to protect the nation's democracy.
Spokespersons of security agencies in Nigeria converge on the defense headquarters to address issues relating to election security management.
Dr. Peter, the floor is yours.
The Director of Defense Information reads the Riot Act.
I want to use this opportunity to re-echo the warning of the CDS to undesirable elements that the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies are ready and will subvert any threat to peace and tranquility. Strong force will be applied to those that want to cause breach of public peace during the general elections.
This briefing is holding a few hours before the presidential election, and the security agencies are assuring voters of adequate security during the exercise.
We are ready to protect democracy. We are ready to give good security to our electoral process so that we can have free, fair, credible, and even acceptable general elections in 2023. We believe in the philosophy of Mr. President, who has said it on several occasions, that he wants free, fair, and credible elections.
The DSS assures of its commitment to a peaceful exercise. It pledges its neutrality, professionalism, and good conduct of its personnel to the democratic process. It will continue to discharge its mandate of disseminating timely, actionable, and proactive intelligence necessary for tactical, operational, and strategic decisions.
Despite the pockets of security threats in parts of the country, the agencies insist that elections will hold in all parts of Nigeria.
Like we have said on several occasions, there is going to be election in every part of Nigeria. There will be election in all the 36 states of the Federation, including Abuja, in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria, and in all the wards in Nigeria.
As the citizens go to the polls on Saturday, non-voters and anyone with plans to disrupt the exercise have been warned to stay away from polling units in their own interest.
Meanwhile, troops of Operation Well Punch have arrested one of the masterminds of the March 28, 2022 terrorist attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train services. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, says on the 14th of February 2023, troops responded to information on the presence of Boko Haram terrorists on February at the Damba community in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, where the suspect was arrested.
On 4th February 2023, responded to information on the presence of Boko Haram terrorists and Islamic State of West African province terrorists Kingpin at Damba community in Chukum local government area of Kaduna State. Subsequently, troops mobilized to the location and arrested 3 terrorists. One of the terrorists arrested was identified as one of the masterminds of the 20th March 2022 terrorist attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train services. Following the operation, troops recovered 2 motorcycles, 2 mobile phones, and the sum of $5,000, as well as other currencies and sundry items. In the same vein, between 16th and 19th February 2023, troops on fighting patrol responded to terrorist activities in Tumba and Ghana Kambas Sawa village in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State. During the engagement, troops neutralized 4 terrorists and recovered 1 AK-47 rifle and 3 motorcycles, as well as rescued 13 civilians earlier kidnapped by the terrorists.
Over in the southeast, Enugu Police Command has confirmed the killing of the Labour Party's senatorial candidate for Enugu East Senatorial District, Mr. Oyibo Chukwu, and his personal assistant. According to the police commissioner, Ahmed Amani, Mr. Chukwu and his assistant were attacked and set ablaze at Ikotu, Amechi, Akukunagu, Enugu by suspected members of IPOB and the ESN. The commissioner says armed hoodlums also attacked a PDP campaign convoy in the same area, setting one of the buses ablaze and burning the driver to death using a petrol bomb. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bar Association has condemned the killing of one of its members, Chief Oyibo Chukwu, by gunmen suspected to be members of the indigenous people of Biafra. The NBA said in a statement by its president, Mr. Yakubu Meikiao, that it bemoans the killing of the lawyer who doubles as the Labour Party's senatorial candidate for Enugu East District. The association laments what it describes as the atmosphere of violence and desperation that continues to plague elections in the country. At the state level, members of the association in Enugu State boycotted court sittings and proceedings. This is in protest of the association's disapproval of the murder of one of its members who was shot dead and his car set ablaze.
What has happened is that the insecurity in Enugu State has been left to be loose over the time, and the killers and these criminals got emboldened and are trying to stop us or discourage us from having our election. I want to call on all well-meaning citizens of Enugu State and Nigeria at large. We should not be dampened. We should not be stopped. We should rise to this occasion. The people we do not know cannot control us. Yes. If they want to control us, they should come out and contest the election so that we give them our mandate and we have something in return as people representing us. You cannot represent us. They cannot represent us with gun. Yes. We are not against you agitation, but it should be civil. It should be done through legal means. This is unlawful. This is an aberration, and it is barbaric. It's barbaric, and it is not acceptable to us.
A Finnish broadcasting company is reporting that Biafran separatist Simon Ekpa has been detained by the Finnish police following an operation at his home in Lahti on Thursday. Mr. Ekpa is a local councillor in the Finnish city representing the National Coalition Party, but he's been accused by the Nigerian government of leading an armed revolt in the Biafra region in the southeast of Nigeria. Nigerian authorities have repeatedly called on Finland to intervene and prevent Mr. Ekpa from continuing his activities. Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs had summoned the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria over misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and incisive comments by a Simon Ekpa. Using social media, Mr. Ekpa has called on millions of people to boycott Nigeria's upcoming general elections, starting Saturday, February 25th, with the presidential and National Assembly elections. However, all appears to be set for Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections across the country. 18 candidates are taking part in the Saturday's election and have all rounded up their campaigns. Some of the candidates that have been active in campaigns include Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, Rabiu Kwakwanso of the New Nigeria People's Party, Peter Obi of Labour Party, and Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission on its website says over 87 million permanent voter cards have been collected across the country. INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who also addressed the media in Abuja today, says the commission has recovered from some of the recent attacks on its facilities.
We are convinced that our joint operations before and on election day will vastly reduce the prospect of voter inducement, which is not only illegal, but actually immoral. The ban on the use of mobile phones and photographic devices at the voting cubicles is still in force. Our arrangement of placing the ballot boxes near the voting cubicles and away from the party agents remains. Several of our facilities were attacked by unknown assailants in various parts of the country. I am pleased that we have fully recovered from these attacks, and we have been further assured that our facilities, staff, voters, observers, the media, and citizens will be safe during the election. The bulk of the small amount of cash that we have requested from the Central Bank of Nigeria is right now being released to the Commission's offices nationwide. In fact, a substantial part of it has already been received by our offices nationwide, and this has greatly facilitated the movement of sensitive materials yesterday from the branches of the Central Bank to our local government areas. And by tomorrow, we'll batch them and then move them on Friday to the registration area centers. And then on Saturday early morning, they will be moved to the polling units for voting.
In part two, after the break, Minister of Justice and Attorney General Abubakar Malami says President Muhammadu Buhari did not breach the Supreme Court order on naira redesign. That's in a moment. Please join us again. Welcome back. If it has joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Security agencies warn those planning to disrupt the elections to have a rethink or be ready to face the consequences as troops arrest one of the masterminds of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. Gunmen kill a Labour Party senatorial candidate in Enugu State just as Finnish authorities arrest and release Biafran separationist Simon Ekpa over alleged incitement. Independent National Electoral Commission says over 87 million permanent voter cards have been collected across the country. Lagos tops the pack with over 6 million cards. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky pays tribute to all those who have lost their lives since Russia invaded his country a year ago. At least 4 persons are feared dead following a clash involving supporters of the political parties in Kano state. The police commissioner in the state, Mr. Muhammad Yakubu, has asked all parties to suspend rallies to avoid violence. Our correspondent covering the party's presidential campaign, Sadiq Ilyasu, sent this in.
The New Nigeria People's Party and the All Progressives Congress had set Thursday, February 23rd, for their various rally ahead of the presidential election. However, the situation raised tension in the city and the police subsequently stepped in, asking all parties to suspend the campaigns.
All of them applied, but it was not even approved. And from their antecedent, if they meet in one place, they have always caused trouble. That's why we said they should all keep up. Some of them agreed, but one didn't.
One of the supporters of the NNPP, who was caught in the violence, narrates the incident.
We are the people of Dala Federal Constituency. We were moving with the member representing us, Anisani Mada Kingini. They came and blocked the road. They destroyed our vehicles and killed 3 people in our presence.
The All Progressives Congress, in a press briefing, distanced their party from the violence.
Unfortunately, information is coming from the propaganda side of the other party that APC is involved into this issue. We are not involved in any way. We had not even known something like that was going to happen because we had withdrawn our campaign. Our governor and ourselves were busy conducting other activities in the state. We had a program of swearing in ceremony of the new permanent secretaries by the time the episode were happening and so forth.
Armed security men have been deployed to ensure normalcy is returned. Nevertheless, supporters of the NNPP insist on going ahead with the rally. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
The House of Representatives candidate for the Social Democratic Party in Ijebu Central Federal Constituency, Mrs. Adiola Aziz, has assured her constituents of quality representation if elected to the National Assembly on Saturday. During an interaction with Channels Television in Ijebu-Ode, Mrs. Aziz said her good pedigree and integrity, among other qualities, are some of the assets she's bringing to the table.
I'm the best of all the candidates representing Ijebu Central Federal Constituency, vying for that seat, House of Rep. I will give them a representation that they have never ever experienced, a representation where they will be involved, where I will be accountable, where they can challenge me, where there will be advocacy, where I will drive projects. The key things wrong in Ijebu Central Federal Constituency today: no light, no roads, no water, the health is also not in a good state. So no light, no water, no road. No power, no light, no road. As a result, agriculture cannot blossom. Even those who are in skilled labor are challenged because there's no power. So what are we talking about? I'm bringing hope, I'm bringing inspiration, and I'm bringing a genuine love for the people. My politics is going to be evidence-based. It's going to leverage on data. It's going to leverage on technology. And with technology, I will be solving a problem, and we will scale up the development of this constituency, a model constituency.
Here's Malpe Ogun Yusuf now to take us on a slight detour from politics. Hi, Malpe.
Yes, indeed, Amarachi. Thank you, and welcome to our Abuja studios. The naira redesign is still making the headlines here, as the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has absolved President Muhammadu Buhari of disregarding the Supreme Court order, declaring that the president has not acted in breach of the February 8 injunction. He stated that as far as the rule of law is concerned, there are many options available. Mr. Malami made the declaration during the 67th ministerial press briefing at the State House. The State House correspondent Gloria Umezuki reports.
The 67th ministerial press briefing continues less than 48 hours to the general elections. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, who is also being sued for contempt of the court by some state governors, expectedly illuminates on the subject of the naira redesign.
Well, generally
speaking against a backdrop of pockets of disenchantments over the president's recent broadcast, restoring only the validity of the old 200 naira notes, Mr. Malami absolved the president of blame.
Where an order is made by a court, you have multiple options. But let me state, before even addressing the issue of the options available at our disposal as a government, the fact clearly that we are not in breach of any order made by the court, inclusive of any order associated with the naira redesign. We are not in breach. I believe, I'm not a banker, but you have not gone further to establish which bank is it that you have gone to present a 1,000 or 500 naira note that has been rejected. The matter is sub judice, and within the context of this rule of law, we are doing the needful as a government in terms of ensuring that the right of the government within the context of the naira redesign is being protected. So we are not in breach.
He equally highlights the importance of the redesign policy and the impact of the Electoral Act, underscoring that they were essentially constituted to enable citizens to assume collective ownership of the electoral system rather than allowing a few money bags to take charge.
Simply because I have succeeded in raising, perhaps legitimately or otherwise, 200 billion, I can now come out to fight a system that is battling to address transparency, to address visibility of the process out of desire to limit corruption. So it is about people, limited number for that matter, that have succeeded in having at their disposal resources that they are protecting. And then again, forcing a compromise on a policy that is beneficial to 200 million Nigerians. Our interest is not a fraction but a whole.
While counting the gains of the extant 2022 Electoral Act, the Chief Law Officer maintains that there are no pre-election matters in the Supreme Court, unlike what was tenable in 2010. He's also corroborating the position of the Inspector General of Police, who says that investigations are ongoing on those individuals and even state governors who have purportedly made treasonable utterances in the last few days. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
In the south of the country, River State Governor Nyesom Wike has commissioned 2 more roads in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The 2 roads in the Diobu and Abuloma areas of the state are a part of the government's program to restore Port Harcourt to its garden city status. Governor Nyesom Wike appreciated the people of River State for the chance to govern the state, promising to defend their interests always.
The once deplorable Azikiwe Iloabuchi Road in the densely populated Diobo area of Port Harcourt, River State, now wears a new look, thanks to Governor Nyesom Wike's urban renewal agenda. The project comprised the total transformation of a single-lane road to this dual carriageway with streetlights in 6 months, something the people are grateful for.
Your Excellency, we thank you for all the good works that you have done in Port Harcourt City local government.
The Commissioner for Works justifies reasons for the reconstruction of this road.
Firstly, it decongests traffic from the Aba Road through to Waterlines and up to the Uruworuku flyover bridge and up to Eagle Island. This road also leads us to Ajip. This road also leads up, is a bypass that will also take you to Ada George and out of Port Harcourt.
Governor Nyesom Wike describes the project as dividends of the trust bestowed on him by the people of River State.
For what River State has given me, I owe them all in my life to continue to protect your interests. I'm not going to sell River State to anybody for a pot of porridge. I'm not going to do that. And that is why if I tell you this is the right place, no, it is the right place.
He then commissions the Azikiwe Iloabuchi Road.
In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.
Thereafter, Governor Wike moves to another part of Port Harcourt local government area to commission the 5.5-kilometer reconstructed Abuloma Femie Okurama Road. With the reconstruction of this road and projects of this sort, people of River State are bound to reap the dividends for electing Nyesom Wike.
And that's all from our Abuja studios. It's back now to you, Amarachi.
Thank you, Malpe. Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers has improved efforts to close the gap in pension education and adoption with the launch of the Experience Soft Center. The center is designed to, among other things, create a cozy environment for customers.
The idea is that if you come in here, you feel delighted, it's a stress-free environment, you're comfortable.
These words perhaps best describe the newly inaugurated Stanbic IBTC Pension Experience Center located at the Okwebi area of Lagos. Chief Executive of the company, Mr. Olumide Oyetan, highlights the inspiration behind the project.
Part of our strategic objective as a company is that we want to delight customers. Customer experience is a major issue and a major driving force of what we did. And then we thought about a year and a half ago that perhaps we have to start to redesign, our branches into experience center. Now, first of all, as a company, our own preference is digital first. So we want to ensure that we can service customers how they want to be serviced. So whether digital, through apps, through online, or if they have to come in. But because we have almost 2 million customers, the idea is that they need to be able to get information at their fingertips. The whole idea of the Experience Center is to say service level, engagement level for the industry is only bound to go one way, which is to improve and for people to start to see pensions and more Nigerians to adopt pension. Now there's micro pensions, which we are trying to encourage, self-employed people to also, key into.
He also points at the strength of the company, adding that it is committed to its clients.
We have a very strong parentage. That group has a AAA rating. A AAA rating, signifies something: financial stability, very strong foundation. And so we belong into that group. I think we have a pedigree in investment management. We've been doing it even before the advent of the Pension Reform Act. And so when it comes to...
With the launch of the Stanbic IBTC Pension Managers Okwebi Experience Soft Center, the company is set to continue its penetration of pension administration and management across the country. It also believes the center fits into its wider strategy and will play a critical role in the growth of the company.
Still ahead on the news at 10, U.S. President Joe Biden nominates former MasterCard Chief Executive Ajay Banga to head the World Bank. We'll have details in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. Millions of Nigerians will win incredible life-changing prizes with the commencement of operations by the National Lottery of Nigeria. The Managing Director, Mr. Lai Onofowokon, explains that the latest initiative will help lift many Nigerians from poverty when they subscribe with as little as 100 naira. Speaking at a news conference to mark the commencement of the initiative in Abuja, Mr. Onofowokon assures Nigerians the lottery remains credible as live draws will be conducted to guarantee a transparent process.
It's the dawn of a new era for the National Lottery. Officials of the body and sister agencies converge on this hall to hint Nigerians on some latest developments which will ultimately translate into their well-being.
Players can now participate in the lottery and stand a chance to win mouth-watering prizes and also our mega millions in naira. This is to help fight the poverty and unemployment, among other issues we are currently facing in the nation.
Established by the federal government and operated by Systems and Gaming Limited, the National Lottery has something for everyone with exciting games, including Niger Mega Jackpot, 649, Pick 3, Instant Win Scratch Cards, and more. The flagship game, Niger Mega Jackpot, with a minimum amount of 45 million naira, is progressive and can grow to hundreds of millions.
The National Lottery Nigeria is committed to providing a safe and secure gaming environment for its players. All players are regularly monitored by an independent body, and a range of measures are in place to ensure that the lottery is conducted in a fair and responsible manner.
Morning, everyone, again.
There were words of support to make the initiative a success. This is just as Nigerians are assured of transparency in the conduct of the lottery.
I have no doubt in my mind that you take every single step that is needed to ensure that this project doesn't have any hiccups.
Very, very interesting and entertaining program, which is set to generate revenue, to entertain Nigerians, and also to bring in the needed social promotion of social inclusion among all of us.
The code to get on board the lottery is *9966# and on www.nationallotterynigeria.com. The recent lottery launch is a milestone in the country's economic development, as its benefits will be evident soon.
Let's get more business news. Here's Anne Wawodo.
Thank you, Amarachi. Hello and welcome to Business News. U.S. President Joe Biden has picked Indian-American former CEO of MasterCard, Ajay Banga, to become the next president of the World Bank. And this is coming about 1 week after the current president of the International Finance Institution, David Malpass, announced his resignation on February the 15th. Mr. Biden says that his nomination, which is the first to be made public, has been attributed to his decades of experience building global companies and building public-private partnerships to tackle urgent challenges like climate change, proven track record of working with global leaders. Meanwhile, the World Bank says that it expects to select a new president by early May this year, as it will accept nominations from other member countries through March the 29th. Nigerian banks will face near-term execution and credit risks from their presence in other sub-Saharan African markets due to regional expansion. According to the report by global ratings agency Fitch, this will depend on the degree of operating environment difficulty and underlying sovereign ratings of these markets. However, Fitch explains that longer-term increased geographic diversification may support banks' business profiles and growth prospects and even financial performance stability. Let's head to the market now, where more than 180 billion naira was added to previous gains recorded by listed equities on the Nigerian exchange. The market maintained a positive momentum today within the election week. The details are with John Nekwa.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the stock market reports. Well, sustaining and building on the gains of Wednesday, we see that the all-share index has built on that, closing at 0.61% at 54,000, going beyond what it was yesterday to 54,646, and the market cap, it was 5 here yesterday. Now it's gone up to 769 trillion naira. That's 29.76 trillion naira. Now, investors were very much interested in Boa Foods today, which is Thursday, and so we see that the consumer goods was the star of today. Because of Boa Foods, it gained 6 naira 60 kobo. Looks like those stocking up activities of individuals for the election is catching up on the sectors right here. We also see banking. The full gas did it again, building on the gains that they had yesterday. Zenith Bank, UBA, Accessco, they made up that 0.39. Oil and gas also. MRS was very attractive to investors today, closing at 0.39. The top trades today, very predictable. The same people who dragged the market down 2 days ago are sustaining the gains. That's it. GTCO, Zenith Bank, UBA, all leading the top trades for today. Well, it's an interesting market. Maybe investors are hiding here, waiting for the elections to come and go. Well, we'll continue to watch and report to you. That's the stock market report. John Mekwa is back to you.
And that's business news for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawado. The rest of the news at 10 continues with Amarachi.
Thank you, Anne. Next on the news at 10, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky pays tribute to all those who've lost their lives since Russia invaded his country almost a year ago. to join us again. Welcome back to the news at 10. We're back to election monitoring, and all appears to be ready for the presidential and National Assembly elections on Saturday. 18 candidates are taking part in the elections and have all rounded up their campaigns. In the meantime, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he would like to meet with Chinese representatives over their plan for bringing the war in Ukraine to end. Beijing, an ally of Russia, even more since top diplomat Wang Yi visited Russia this week, has indicated it will be releasing a peace plan for Ukraine. Simon Pusey has more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Ukraine's intelligence service says it expects Russian missile attacks to coincide with the anniversary of the invasion.
Prime Minister, thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
President Zelensky today welcoming Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and thanking him for his support in aiding Ukraine resistance. Paying tribute to those who have died, he said Ukraine will hold Moscow to account for all the terror, all the killings, and all the torture. Meanwhile, Russians have been celebrating Defender of the Fatherland Day. Russian President Vladimir Putin attended a wreath-laying ceremony in Moscow to mark the day, a public holiday in Russia that honors those serving in the armed forces and military veterans. The annual ceremony comes a day before the one-year anniversary of the start of what Russia calls a special military operation in Ukraine. A TV reporter and a 9-year-old girl have been fatally shot near Orlando, Florida, close to the scene of a murder that took place hours earlier. 24-year-old Spectrum News 13 reporter Dylan Lyons was killed in the attack. The other two killed in Pine Hills, a suburb west of Orlando, have not yet been identified. Investigators have arrested a suspect identified as Keith Melvin Moses, who was armed at the time.
On Hialeah Street, deputies located 2 men who had been shot in or near a vehicle. They are a News 13 reporter and photographer who were on the scene to cover the homicide from this morning. On Harrington Street, a woman and her 9-year-old girl were also shot inside of a home. It is unclear why the suspect entered that home. The victims were transported to nearby hospitals, and tragically, one of the News 13 employees has passed. So we have detained the person believed to be responsible for the murder this morning, as well as the shootings this afternoon. He is 19-year-old Keith Melvin Moses. He is being formally charged in the murder from this morning, and we expect additional charges for the shootings of the 4 people this afternoon.
Northern Irish police have arrested 3 men in relation to the attempted murder of a senior detective shot in the town of Omagh that they suspect was carried out by the new IRA, Irish Nationalist Militant Group. Detective Chief Inspector John Caldwell is in a critical condition, having undergone surgery overnight. He was shot a number of times by 2 gunmen while putting footballs in his car after finishing a coaching session with an under-15 soccer team. The 3 men, aged 38, 45 and 47, have been arrested under the Terrorism Act and are currently being questioned by detectives.
Clearly, as an organisation, we are utterly shocked and angered by last night's brazen and calculated attack. John is a father, husband and colleague, and a valued and active member of his local community.
6 people have been confirmed dead, 6 injured and 47 others remained missing in a coal mine collapse in North China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. This surveillance camera captured the moment the mine collapsed in Inner Mongolia at around 1 o'clock local time yesterday. The 6 survivors of the accident are receiving treatment at a hospital in neighbouring Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region, less than 1 hour's drive from the site. The exhumed remains of Burkina Faso's revolutionary ex-president Thomas Sankara have been laid to rest at a ceremony in the nation's capital. The charismatic Marxist revolutionary, affectionately known as Africa's Che Guevara, was gunned down along with 12 others during a bloody coup led by his former ally and successor Blaise Compaoré. He was aged 37 at the time. And Japanese Emperor Naruhito has given his first public birthday address since ascending the throne almost 4 years ago. Standing on a palace balcony, he accepted cheers and well wishes from thousands of citizens assembled on the grounds below. Naruhito was joined by his wife, Empress Masako, his daughter and his brother, Crown Prince Akishino, and his wife and daughter. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
And back to election monitoring trail, the correspondent Kayode Kikulu had a chat with some of the front runners of Saturday's elections.
Well, the 2023 presidential election is unlike any poll Nigerians have witnessed. With a record over 93 million voters who are eligible to vote, a large chunk of them young people, and will be going out to elect Nigeria's 5th president in the 4th Republic. Now, using an analysis of several opinion polls released, well, let's meet some of the candidates who are gunning for the nation's top job. We're using an alphabetical order of the political parties, of course. And first off is a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Bola Tinubu, who is 70 years old. Well, he was elected senator in the short-lived Third Republic in the early 90s, and 6 years after, he became governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007. Well, he's one of the founders of his party, the APC, and is contesting the presidential election for the first time. Well, he's tagged his manifesto for Nigeria, Renewed Hope 2023. Next is the Labour Party's Mr. Peter Obi, a former governor of Anambra State from 2006 to 2014. Well, the 61-year-old was a vice presidential candidate of the PDP in 2019, but last year he joined the Labour Party and is running for president for the first time. Well, he's put his plans in a document titled Creating a New Nigeria. And moving on, and running on the platform of the New Nigeria People's Party is Senator Robbie Kwakwanso, a former governor of Kano State. And he served as a Minister of Defense and also as a senator. The 66-year-old has previously been in the PDP and the APC before joining the NNPP last year. And this is the third time he's seeking the highest office in the land, and his first 2 attempts failed at the primaries. Well, his manifesto is laid out in what he's called the RMK 2023 blueprint. Well, up next, the People's Democratic Party's Atiku Abubakar. He's 75 years old and has served 2 terms as Vice President of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007. This is his 6th run for the presidency, with his first attempt as far back as 1992. He has previously been in the Action Congress and the APC, and his manifesto is tagged A Covenant with Nigeria. So there you go. And as they say, may the best candidate win.
Welcome to the world of sports. Now, Angel Di Maria scored a hat-trick as Juventus reached the Europa League last 16 this evening with a 3-0 playoff second leg win over Nantes. The result allowed the Italian Giants to progress 4-1 on aggregate. The Argentine World Cup winner opened the scoring after 5 minutes and then added a 20th minute penalty. Now, South Sudan this evening made history at the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations as forward Paul Jawa won and converted a penalty against the Central African Republic to secure the young Bright Stars a 1-0 victory and their first ever win at the youth tournament. Diminutive winger Paul Mara Jawa was wrestled to the deck under the challenge of Fanure Frank, and he made no mistake when the referee pointed to the spot to give the team the lead. That's it on Sports News. I'm Victor Matthias. It's back to Amarachi.
Thank you, Victor. And on a programming note, we'd like to inform our viewers the first part of a special program titled 2023 Election, the Economy and the Need for Political Ideology comes up right after the news at 10. The program produced by Roman Osegele. A business and economic analyst seeks to explain the economic models that have been used in the country since her independence. It would also also have the options for the next president. The second part of the program comes up tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. in place of Business Incorporated. Once again, 2023 election, the economy, and the need for political ideology. And the main news again, security agencies have warned those planning to disrupt the elections to have a rethink or be ready to face the consequences as troops arrest one of the masterminds of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. That's news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night. Stay safe.